didn't know I had like such a pile of crap still lingering beneath the surface. It was literally like Pandora's box opens, and all hell broke loose. Hello everyone, little video from me. I think it's gonna be a little one, I don't know. When I start talking I tend to talk a lot, but this is an important video for me, and it is also one of the reasons why I set up this channel, True North Experience. If you like my content, by the way, don't forget to click follow for more updates that I'll be sharing here. Because last year in 2019 I went through my spiritual awakening, and it was hardcore. It was wow, it was like a tsunami hit me, and a lot of things happened. There were a lot of things also leading up to the spiritual awakening. One of them was meeting my twin flame. That was definitely one of the catalysts, but also I lost my 2 cats. It was like everything came crumbling down in 2019. So I met my twin flame. My cats died within 2 months after each other. I lost work. I lost projects working as a freelancer as well, because I was combining work. So all of these things together felt like the shit hitting the fan, let's put it that way. And I didn't realize immediately that I was going through the spiritual awakening, and that was part of the process. But in hindsight, everything started to make sense. And that's why this video is really important, and it's about pressing pause. Pressing pause while you're going through this awakening. And there are 5 reasons that I want to show you, well, tell you about why it is important to press pause, step on the brakes, and really take a moment to focus on you. And press pause can be in any sense of the word. Like pressing pause can be like distracting yourself from people, choosing solitude, meditating, sleeping more, really choosing yourself, whatever you need in order to function normal, to get through this whole process, recharge, regenerate, and take time to understand what is going on. So there are 5 things that I want to discuss, and it immediately brings me to number 1. When I went through my spiritual awakening, literally everything changed. Everything you can imagine. The way I see the world, the way I see people, the way I experience things, the way I look at myself. My gifts came to the forefront. Also a lot of crap came out, but also my gifts. And then I'm talking about my intuition got heightened. I had premonitions. I sense things before they happen. I see things before they happen. Some of these gifts I already had since I was young. They were always there. And actually we all have these inside of us. But you know, when you're not aware, then it's just, then you don't notice. And for me, I already knew these things, that they were happening. I already experienced them in life, and now they got even more heightened. So for me it was really important to sit myself down and understand what's going on. All these synchronicities all of a sudden starting to pop up, knowing that things have a different meaning, but also looking at people in my surroundings, like who are they, how do they move in this world. And also all of a sudden I noticed that people, I wasn't resonating with certain people anymore, with their thoughts, with how they were behaving. I was literally like, I was like trying to keep that away from me. So yeah, that's a moment that you have to just really sit down and understand, and just take that time for you to understand and go through that. Second of all, I already kind of mentioned it, but when you awaken, your heart chakra opens, and then, well, you know, it obviously wants to start healing, because what you want is you want to get rid of all those low density energies and to get more light in and start ascending. But I didn't know I had like such a pile of crap still lingering beneath the surface. It was literally like Pandora's box opens, and all hell broke loose. There's a lot of conditioning going on inside of us. There is trauma, there is inner child wounds, programming, things that I didn't even realize I was still suffering from. There were definitely things I was aware of. I went through a depression already at the age of 28, and I promised myself this would never happen again. I had sessions with psychologists to go over inner child wounds that I suffered and conditioning that I wanted to break out of at that time. And there were things I was like, oh, I dealt with that, that's all gone. But then I met my twin flame, which is your perfect mirror, and I thought that he was actually dealing with these things. Well, he also was, but he is my perfect mirror. And then I came to the realization that there was all this inner child like wounds and trauma that I hadn't worked through. And when your heart chakra opens, it wants to start healing. So all of that came out, and I had to work through all these emotions and anger and fears that were coming to the surface, which was in that moment very traumatizing because I had no idea what was going on, and the pain that came with that was so agonizing. It was so much that it brought me in a state where I experienced anxiety. I had a feeling that someone was pinching needles in my complete nerve system, pushing knives in my heart. I just couldn't deal with it anymore. I got help for that, no worries. But it was literally, it was just too much. And knowing how to deal with that, and also knowing where it's coming from, and then dealing with heartbreak, because I'm not together with my twin flame, we're in separation. It's a different topic, it's not something I want to discuss here. If you want to know more about it, there are tons of videos about it. This is now about me. This whole journey is about me, about how I find my north node and experience this whole journey and just live in the now and just know what's happening in the now and make it meaningful for me. So that's what that is about. But this whole shadow work that I'm working on is literally part of my awakening, because I can only leave the light in if I make room by working on my shadow sides and healing those sides. Because by healing them, I remove them, and it brings in more space for me to bring in more light. And that's something that I've been working on. And I did it in solitude. I had to do it. I literally had to do that by myself. It was really important. So that is number 2. Number 3, everything is energy. And I mean, everything is energy. Everything that we experience around us, everything that we see, feel, everything is energy. You are energy. You're one ball of energy. And that got heightened. I could sense everything around me in a very heightened way. I literally started walking with headphones on because I just couldn't deal with the energies around me from people. For example, if someone's really angry and projects that to the outside through whatever behavior, I sensed that. I already did that. I was not paying attention to it, but now I was, because it was literally hitting my nerve system and I couldn't handle that. I now can handle it much better. I started to protect my energy better. I know ways now how to work with it better. I'm still learning. There's still a lot to learn there, but I can deal with it better. So energy, it's a huge deal, and managing your energy during the day, it's something that I had to work on. So I meditated loads. But I also slept a lot because I was feeling so drained. I just had to sleep to reset myself. No focus, it's number 4. no focus. I couldn't focus. Oh my goodness, I couldn't focus. There was this mind loop going on in my head, and then all this information that came to me. But also I got so fascinated with my spiritual journey, I started to dive into that side. So my daily tasks really became like hard for me because first of all, everything changes, and I was like, it doesn't make sense for me to do these things anymore. Why am I doing them at all? And then there was all this information and all this stuff that I wanted to learn and to digest and to understand, because I needed to understand what was going on with this body, because we are experiencing life through this body. It's our vessel in our mind and through our senses. We need this in order to experience this life. And I wanted to understand how that works and how I am connected to this higher conscious state and how that is communicating with each other. But all this information came in at the same time, and then synchronicities came in, and I was heartbroken, and I had to work through all that pain. So I had no focus whatsoever. I couldn't focus for 5 minutes. I literally had to force myself to work, and I had to take a lot of breaks in between, and I couldn't, what I did is, like, I could only set like one task, and when that task was done, I could do the next. I was not able to schedule anything, to plan anything, because it was too much already. And that brings me to number 5, feeling burned out. I was feeling extremely burnt out. I could sleep for 10, 11 hours, and then the next morning would still be exhausted. I would dream loads, but I had a lot of moments where I had insomnia, especially in the beginning. I had a lot of insomnia, and then for a time that went away, but then the insomnia came back, and I dreamt a lot. I dreamed loads. I already did that since I was a child. I dreamt like loads, and I could like tell them the next day. I could literally even remember the slightest details. In that time I actually should have been journaling, but there were moments I was just too tired to pick up a pen and even just write one sentence. I just couldn't. It was just too much. Now that's really, it's a lot better. So I started journaling again because the dreams are really important to me. Dream work is part of my shadow work as well, because dreams really communicate a lot of messages that also linger beneath the surface, and it's very fascinating. Dream work it's very fascinating to work with your dreams. So yeah, that's the 5 things that really forced me into pressing pause. And pressing pause can literally mean like choosing to be alone for a while. It's interesting. I love being all by myself. I needed to recharge. I need it when I just don't feel good, or there's something happened and I need to digest it. It can be that I just don't show up on a day. I literally have to cancel things. It's going a lot better now. The people around me that I talk about this, they know that. So, you know, I don't want to feel guilty, and I don't have to feel guilty. It is really important to choose yourself. It's really important to take the time to meditate, to grounding. Oh, let's not forget the grounding, because at some point I was not grounded anymore, and grounding is such an important thing. I can do another video about that, but through yoga, meditation, I slept a lot. When I would feel bad, I would be crying. I would feel really heartbroken, really like betrayed and abandoned, because there was so much going on. At some point I just would sleep for 2 hours during the day. When I had to go to work, I would make sure I would feel charged to go to work. So if that meant that if I had to sleep or take like a long bath, or you know, meditate, just do nothing, just, I don't know, sit on the balcony and look outside, that was just my activity. Now this is all going a lot better. Also, I looked into my food. I was aware that my vitamins and minerals were really important, especially because I didn't feel so energized. I didn't feel mentally ready to step into the world. So I would always make sure that I had like fresh vegetables, fruits. I would make my smoothie. That was a must. I really did that every single day. And it really helped me, obviously. Yeah, but other than that, you gotta figure out like what works for you, what's important to you in order to press pause, because for everyone's different. This worked for me. I just share the reasons with you. And I don't know, maybe you recognize things. If you do, leave a comment below and maybe we can start a dialogue there. Yeah, that's actually the video. It's become a very long video. I knew I wasn't gonna be able to do this under 8 minutes, but I want to thank you for making it to the end if you listened all the way through. If you like this video, if you like my content, if you feel connected to it, if you resonate with it, then don't forget to follow me. You can also follow me on other social media channels. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, and where I'll be telling more about spiritual awakening, but also about how to raise your vibration, about mental health awareness, all these different topics that now are part of my life, to inspire you, to inspire myself, and yeah, share as we go and learn as we go.